The iPhone 16 series is here and Apple is making big promises. But how much of it is ready for consumers right now? With heavy marketing around Apple Intelligence and some impressive hardware upgrades, the iPhone 16 series has a lot to offer. But there are some important details that could impact your buying decision. In this video, we'll dive deep into the key features, what's really available at launch, and why you might want to hold off or dive right in, depending on your needs. So if you're thinking about upgrading, make sure to watch the video in full to get all the facts. Not quite a finished product, Apple Intelligence. Let's start with the elephant in the room, Apple Intelligence. Apple has been promoting the new iPhone 16 series as the first phones built from the ground up to run their suite of generative AI services. That sounds amazing, right? But here's the thing, Apple Intelligence isn't actually ready. It's not included in the retail version of the iPhone 16 series yet. Instead, these features will arrive via software updates in October, and only some of them will be ready by then. So what does that mean for you, the consumer? Well, some AI features like a smarter Siri and generative AI photo editing will be available later this year. But the more complex stuff like visual intelligence, Apple's competitor to Google Lens, or image generation from text prompts, won't be available until early 2025. If you're buying the iPhone 16 for these cutting-edge AI features, you'll need to be patient. Now, if you're curious to see Apple Intelligence in action, it is available in beta versions of iOS. From my testing, the beta runs smoother than most Android betas. However, the reality is that the iPhone 16's most hyped features are not ready for everyone just yet. Thinner bezels, bigger screens. Now let's talk about hardware. While Apple Intelligence may not be fully baked, the new iPhones have some hardware upgrades that definitely justify excitement. I've been using the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the largest and most expensive model, for the past month. The experience, pretty impressive. The most noticeable change is the slightly larger screen. The iPhone 16 Pro Max now features a 6.9-inch display, but don't worry, it doesn't feel too bulky in the hand. That's because Apple has trimmed down the bezels even further. This creates a more immersive experience without making the phone significantly larger than last year's model. And speaking of the display, the OLED screen on the iPhone 16 Pro Max is nothing short of stunning. Apple screens have lagged behind some Android competitors for years, but this year's iPhone 16 Pro series is easily one of the best displays you'll find on any phone. The screen gets incredibly bright and offers superb clarity, making it great for watching videos or playing games. Apple A18 Pro, the most powerful chip yet. Powering all this is Apple's new A18 Pro chip, and let me tell you, it is a beast. This chip pushes Apple even further ahead in the silicon race, outperforming anything Qualcomm, MediaTek, or Samsung have to offer. Whether you're playing AAA games or editing 4K video, the A18 Pro handles it effortlessly. The efficiency of this chip also leads to one of the best battery performances I've seen in a flagship phone. I'm a heavy user. I'm constantly on the go and rarely home, and yet I found myself ending most days with battery left to spare. For anyone who's tired of reaching for a charger halfway through the day, this is a huge win. New camera control button. A missed opportunity? Now let's move on to a feature that's new, but maybe not for everyone, the camera control button. Apple doesn't even call this a button, but it's a new hardware addition located on the bottom right of the phone, designed to act as a physical shutter button when the phone is held horizontally. It also lets you navigate the camera UI with taps and swipes. Sounds great, right? In theory, yes. But in practice, it's not as smooth. The button is slightly recessed, making it hard to find by touch, and you have to press it with more force than you'd expect, which can shift the phone and ruin your shot. Plus, navigating the camera UI with this button requires multiple swipes, which is slower and less convenient than just tapping a screen. I really wanted to love this feature, especially as an aspiring street photographer, but after a week of trying to use it, I gave up. It feels like Apple missed the mark on this one. Hopefully, future iterations will improve this, but for now, it's more of a gimmick than a game changer. Improved cameras, a focus on still photography. That said, the cameras on the iPhone 16 Pro Max are still a highlight. The hardware hasn't changed much from last year's model, with the exception of a new 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera. But Apple has upgraded the image signal processor ASP, allowing for better color and tone customization, making a noticeable difference in still photography. Apple introduced photographic styles this year, which let you customize tones and shadows. This is similar to what Fujifilm and some Chinese phone manufacturers have been doing with their cameras. The result? Photos with deeper shadows, more contrast, and a more organic look. For someone who has often criticized iPhone photos for looking too flat and overly processed, this is a huge improvement. While it doesn't quite surpass the likes of Vivo or Xiaomi in terms of camera quality, Apple has significantly closed the gap. For most users, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will deliver some of the best photos they've ever taken. Video recording, still king. Where the iPhone continues to dominate, however, is video recording. The iPhone 16 Pro Max can shoot 4K video at 120 fps, allowing for ultra-smooth slow-motion footage. There are also 4 improved microphones on the phone which capture the best audio I've ever heard from a smartphone. If you're a content creator, this means you may not need an external mic, at least not right away. Whether you're filming casual videos or professional-grade content, the iPhone 16 Pro Max excels in video, and it's a big reason why many creators continue to stick with Apple. Apple Intelligence. Okay, let's talk about the unfinished features, Apple's take on generative AI. I've been testing better versions of this AI, and for the most part, they work well, but still lag behind what Google is already offering on the Pixel and Samsung phones. Siri is smarter. He or she can understand context, including follow-up questions. If you fumble words mid-question and correct yourself, Siri usually is aware enough to understand and give the right answer. For example, as a test, I asked Siri in the exact words, "What's the time in Taiwan?" No wait, I meant Thailand. And Siri was able to give me the time in Thailand. There's generative AI photo editing, which right now mostly consists of removing things from images, but you can create original emojis in the future via text prompts. Apple's Object Remover works pretty well, but not quite as well as Google's crazy good version. Apple Intelligence can also help you generate text, like you can ask it to draft an email. It works decent enough, but is a feature I will never use. As a writer, I am proud of having my own voice, and would never want AI to help me write a simple email. Overall, Apple Intelligence works and will improve the daily usage of iPhone users. It's just that the features aren't ready yet unless you install a better version of iOS. Best battery life on an iPhone yet. I mentioned the battery life earlier, but it's worth emphasizing again. This phone lasts, even with heavy use including gaming, streaming, and capturing photos and videos. The iPhone 16 Pro Max held up for a full day, and then some. For everyday users, you'll likely never have to worry about running out of juice before bedtime. And even for power users like myself, the iPhone 16 Pro Max has one of the best batteries in the business. Final thoughts, should you buy the iPhone 16? So after a month of using the iPhone 16 Pro Max, what's the verdict? If you're an Apple fan, this phone is probably already on your wish list. It has great hardware, an incredible display, and the best chip on the market. The cameras have also improved significantly for still photography, and video remains top-notch. However, the biggest advertised feature, Apple Intelligence, isn't ready yet. If you're buying the iPhone 16 just for the AI features, you might want to hold off until 2025 when everything is fully available. That said, for most users, this phone will exceed expectations. If you're upgrading from an older iPhone, the 16 Pro Max offers enough to justify the price tag, especially if you're into photography, video, or just want the best tech out there. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more in-depth reviews like this.